Lowe's.
Spectacular fireworks, part of the nightly show here at the Magic Kingdom. And on the basketball court tonight, Marcus Smart will be providing a lot of pyrotechnics too. Last time against Memphis, a transcendent performance with 39 points. Will they do it again, or will Memphis get their atonement? Next. Hello, everybody. You're watching the championship game of the 2013 Old Spice Classic from ESPN's Wide World of Sports complex at the Walt Disney World Resort. Part of Feast Week, presented by Lowe's. Number 5, Oklahoma State, taking on number 21, Memphis. There's a look at the brackets. The Cowboys defeating Butler in a close one late in that contest. Memphis getting by LSU. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Jones. Fran Fraschilla coming up in just a bit. 12 days ago when these two teams met, the Cowboys were the picture of precision. Marcus Smart, the Player of the Year candidate, a transcendent performance with 39 points. They lived up to expectations. Meanwhile, Memphis was left shaking their head, players saying that they were embarrassed. And Joe Jackson, their point guard, says, I guarantee you one thing, if we get the Cowboys again, I guarantee you we'll compete a lot more. Well, they have that chance tonight. And with more, here's Fran Fraschilla. Fran?
Thanks, Jonesy. Coach Pastner, things didn't go quite well for you 12 days ago. How has your team responded to that game in Stillwater?
Well, Coach, you know, we got our butts kicked. During that game, I wanted to be where you were sitting, and I wanted you to switch spots with me for that game. But no, Oklahoma State's a great team. Travis Ford's a great coach, and we've gotten better. We've had course correction, and I'm excited about tonight because we get to see the improvements that we made.
What do you have to do to stop or slow down Marcus Smart?
Coach, they've got other players than Marcus Smart. I mean, Marcus is very good. He's going to score. He's going to have a dunk. He's going to hit some great shots. What we can't have happen is him have a great game and about 3 other guys have big games.
Really appreciate it. Good luck tonight.
Anytime, Coach. Hey, I love this guy, by the way, too. He's a dear friend.
Brad Fraschilla getting it done on the sidelines. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for this great run tonight. Oklahoma State first. Marcus Smart and Markel Brown. Maybe the best backcourt in all of college basketball. Cobbins, Nash, and Brian Williams in the front court for the undefeated Oklahoma State Cowboys. Meanwhile, for Memphis, Joe Jackson and Chris Crawford in the backcourt along with Jaron Johnson. Austin Nichols coming off a big game against LSU, and Shaq Goodwin in the front court. He has really transformed himself into an elite player this year so far. It'll be interesting to see how familiarity manifests itself after the first meeting. Marcus Smart, literally and figuratively, as you can see, the voice and face of this Cowboys team. There's a look at their head coach, Travis Ford. Boy, a couple of years ago, there were people perhaps calling for an end to his reign on the sidelines, but he has certainly turned it around in Stillwater. Josh Pastner's team trying to bounce back from that earlier disappointment. To a man, they'll tell you that they were embarrassed by what happened. As we take a look now at our one-on-one on the court.
Well, keep in mind, Mark, this is a redemption game for Memphis's guards. Marcus Smart was on fire that night, knocking down threes left and right. You see the 4 senior guards combined for 8 for 34 shooting, and they talked about this prior to this tournament, but they had to win their first 2 games. They've done that. Now they get a chance.
Josh Pastner talking about this meeting again. And Fran, one of the underlying numbers and statistics, as you look at Coach on the sidelines there, he has yet to defeat a AP top 25 team in his years on the sideline at Memphis.
Well, he's done a really good job of restocking this Memphis program with quality players. Obviously, this is a big opportunity for Memphis tonight, and they do have senior guards, as you talked about.
Here's Smart being guarded by Crawford to start the game.
Yep, Jaron Johnson guarded him the first game.
Misses everything on his first field goal attempt.
They let Smart get comfortable in the first game, Mark. I think they were surprised by his ability to shoot the ball. Kind of interesting because in the first game, Smart guarded Joe Jackson for much of that night. In fact, Jackson did not have a field goal on Marcus Smart.
They got Markel Brown trying to stick Joe Jackson right now. Shaq Goodwin on the drive, draws the foul. And Pastner looking for a goaltending call as Shaq Goodwin will go to the free throw line.
Shaq Goodwin, a good young sophomore, very physical, a lot of energy. That time they isolated him at the top. Nichols sealed inside. And that ball looked like it was on the way up, but aggressive move by the young man from Atlanta. In fact, there's history here between Goodwin and Smart. They were teammates on the under-18 FIBA America's championship team, Mark, 2 summers ago.
Mark Few, one of the coaches on that team.
Billy Donovan was the head coach.
Goodwin has done a nice job of remaking his body. Coach Pastner, as he calls a timeout, great hustle to dive to the court. Coach Pastner telling us that Goodwin a year ago played at or below the rim, now playing at and above the rim. Memphis with a 1-0 lead just underway. We'll be back after this. Shaq Goodwin going to the court, getting his knee burns early in this game, Fran, but what's your take on how good a call this is here? Well,
listen, here's the deal. He's a young player. The ball goes to the ground. Now, he calls timeout, but what he didn't realize was the possession arrow was in Memphis's favor, and so had no problem with the hustle, but you got to be aware of time and score.
Johnson on the baseline. Boy, that's a man-sized move.
You know what that is? That's a calling card.
Johnson, the 6'3" senior, one of 4 senior guards on this Memphis roster. How many teams in America have that luxury? 4 talented seniors. Michael Dixon, the other one, who will come off the bench tonight. LeBrian Nash matched up against Goodwin. Brian Williams launching. One and done at the offensive end for the Cowboys.
We talked about the Butler game being a prize fight. If this was a prize fight, that dunk was a first-round stagger of Oklahoma State. They'll respond. But a good message sent by the Tigers.
You ready to score at a 10-8 round yet?
Not yet. Nope. A lot of basketball.
Here's Crawford out top, guarded by Williams. We'll go back to Shaq Goodwin on the block. Wheels in, elevates for the jump hook.
What I love about Shaq Goodwin, Mark, I love the smile, man. Talk about a guy that enjoys being out there. Got a little Noah in him, you know?
Yeah. Former ESPN Top 100 recruit. Here's Markel Brown. Into Williams, working against Austin. That's Cobbins, pardon me. Michael Cobbins, not much of an offensive threat, but good soft touch that time for him.
Yeah, he's honed that little 12-foot fadeaway. Hit a big one against Butler in the semifinal.
Cowboys finally on the board.
Now Nichols is a guy that can hurt you also.
Nice high-low and a sweet left hand by Austin Nichols.
This is a kid that was recruited by basically everybody. Top 20 player, chose to stay home. Part of what Josh Pastner has done. He's recruited the Memphis area very well.
A lot of talent coming out of Memphis, going back decades. Here's LeBrian Nash in rhythm. Rebounded by Markel Brown. Another offensive rebound for the Cowboys, and now Smart going to get a screen from Nash. Attacks Goodwin, great time to Cobbins, missed his tip. Oklahoma State pounding glass, and Smart with a smart move.
Talk about punching back. Good example right there. It almost looked like Memphis was playing in the paint on everybody on Oklahoma State, daring them to shoot.
Hey, Fran, no step, left hand off 2 feet.
Well, he looked like he traveled on the drive right here. You see the extra step on the dish off, but give him credit. You got to stay with it. You got to have 5 white jerseys in the lane if you're Memphis right now.
Oklahoma State has shot cold come out of the gate here.
Boy, they're playing way off of Brian Williams. They're not even guarding him. Jaron Johnson's in the paint.
Oklahoma State a little bit out of sorts on this possession. 7 on the shot clock. Markel Brown out top. Got to get busy with it. Good defense by Goodwin. And a shot clock violation against Oklahoma State. Look at Shaq Goodwin all crunk. Getting this Memphis crowd all hyped up.
Well, keep in mind, Mark, in the second half in Stillwater, they trailed by as much as 34 points. They made it respectable late, but this was a ranked team that was beaten down severely. And you would expect them to respond.
Here's Crawford working against Williams. Williams slipped. Nichols with a wide open jumper. Austin Nichols coming off perhaps his best game of the season in their last run on Friday night against LSU. 19 points. Brian Nash.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
There are a lot of dynamic players on the court tonight. We promised you fireworks. They're coming.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Old Spice. Get unnecessary freshness and start winning everything today. Infinity, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. And 5-Hour Energy. 5-Hour Energy helps recognize those who, despite their own needs, put others first.
Steve Weisman, Seth Greenberg back in studio with an update of North Carolina and UAB. UAB shooting just 28% from the field, but they're still winning this ball game, Coach.
They're winning this ball game because they're plus 19 on the glass. Right now, Carolina's got to step up. Marcus Page needs to take over this basketball game.
Over on ESPNU right now, Creighton struggling against GW. Doug McDermott, he's averaging nearly 30 a game, held to just 4 right now. Back to Mark and Fran.
All right, thanks a lot. Memphis with a 3-point lead just underway. 15:41 to go in the first half. Fran, how big is it for Memphis to get off to this good start they've gotten off to?
Well, it's huge. And, you know, I always use the analogy of the bully on the block, and that's because Oklahoma State is so good. I mean, they're number 5 in the country. So what you have to do is you have to match their aggressiveness, and that's exactly what Memphis has done. And keep in mind, you see great high-low pass right there from Goodwin to Nichols. That game didn't really turn in Stillwater until Marcus Smart got going from behind the arc. But if you're Josh Pastner right now, you got to like the fact that your team is ready to play.
Brian Nash, meanwhile, at the free throw line. You know, there's been so much talk over the last 12 months about Marcus Smart. People forget that this guy, Brian Nash, He misses the three-point play. At one point was seen as quote-unquote the savior of this program. Former McDonald's high school All-American.
Exactly.
Took him a while to adjust.
And he was the brother of outstanding point guard Byron Eaton. Same high school, Dallas Lincoln, little zone. We've seen this before. Travis Ford loves to change his defense out of timeouts, give you a different look.
Goodwin and Nichols,
nice.
great high-low.
Yep.
That's the second time they've had that working, Fred.
What they've done is they've spread the zone out, and they just isolated in a little two-man high-low game. And Nichols, Mark, is a very, very good young player.
Cobbins working against Nichols, backed him down, got him in jail, and made it look easy. He's got 4.
One thing we've talked about with Travis Ford's teams, we've seen it. They know how to pick out what they think is a mismatch, and they attack it immediately.
Michael Dixon has checked into the ball game, the senior transfer from Missouri.
There's a lot of familiarity with this Oklahoma State team.
He's been through a couple of battles with the Cowboys through the years.
Take a look now. Watch this nice pass. Goodwin waits. Watch the spin off right there. Oh, that's great. Excellent fundamental basketball right there. Cobbins trying to front. Austin Nichols just spins off of him.
Nichols going to get a seat now. The former number 37 ESPN Top 100 recruit, Nick King, coming into the ball game. And he, by the way, had 23 points against Oklahoma State in that earlier run this year.
Interesting about Nick King, almost half of his points so far in his career came in that game.
Wow, what a rebound by Markel Brown. Off the miss, Smart on the move. Draws the foul on the pass. But they were able to get back in transition that time.
Well, what you have to do with Marcus Smart is you got to guard him with 5 white jerseys. Because of his size and quickness, Mark, and the new rules, he understands that any crease to the lane, he's going to put the ball down and go. That time, Michael Dixon Jr. got caught with the hand check.
Here he is off the baseline screen.
That's a walk.
Brian Nash got called for it, too. That's the second turnover of the ball game for Oklahoma State.
Now remember, despite the 39 points, Marcus Smart, and he is averaging 28 over the last 4, he picks his spots. He's going to do so many other different things to help you win. It's not just the points.
Crawford on the drive, a little bit out of control. Nash almost had it. Scramble for the loose ball, and Markel Brown gets on it. Oklahoma State with a timeout. Good hustle and sportsmanship by both teams so far. Well, folks, the Big Ten ACC Challenge kicking off Tuesday with 4 legendary programs. C.J. Fair, number 8 Syracuse, hosting the Hoosiers. Then at 9:15, Glenn Robinson III leads number 22 Michigan into Cameron Indoor to face Jabari Parker, number 6 Duke. The Big Ten ACC Challenge presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, Tuesday on ESPN. Both games also live on Watch ESPN.
I'll tell you who else is leading Michigan into Cameron Indoor, and that's Nick Stauskas, who's been on fire. He's playing as well as anybody in the country right now from that small forward 2-guard spot.
Great shooter, adding to his game this year.
No doubt. A lot of NBA scouts impressed with him for the future. Where's he from, by the way?
Toronto, Canada.
Yes, he is.
North of the border.
Yep.
And right now with the Canadian invasion, they're proving that they import more than just weed and hockey players. Under 14 minutes to go. Marcus Smart, who said earlier of the highly touted freshman, and especially Wiggins, how are you going to say he's the best when he hasn't even played yet? Forte on the backdoor cut, took the hit from Goodwin. And Goodwin picks him up.
How many times have we seen in this tournament, Mark? Timeout, Travis Ford comes out, runs a play, they overplay Forte because they know how good a shooter he is, and then he back cuts, gets himself to the line, which is deadly for Josh Pastner.
Boy, great pass, too, by Markel Brown. Dropped the dime to Forte, who will miss a free throw once every few years. He's only missed 1 in the tournament.
That broke
He had a streak of, what, 47 going?
Yeah, it was in the 40s.
Forte went to the same high school as Marcus Smart in Flower Mound, Texas.
There's a little half-court pressure now by Oklahoma State. We talked about how they like to mix up their defenses.
Michael Dixon, quick off the bounce, great time inside. That was King.
See, they're going right at Oklahoma State. Michael Dixon on the attack off the dribble.
And Smart turns it over. A little bit nonchalant. Jackson tipped up. Goodwin working the glass, still loose, and Smart comes away with it.
Numbers.
Markel Brown. Tell you what, you can't finger roll too much tonight, Fran, because guys are contesting things up top at the rim. That ball knocked out of bounds. It'll come back to Oklahoma State. A 3-point Memphis lead here early.
I love the freneticism. I will tell you now, Memphis, they have been very, very feisty. I mean, they got punched in the nose, Mark, and they walked away from Memphis, from Stillwater, a team that was doubting themselves. You know, Josh Pastner told me before the game, and I saw him use this quote, they had to have a course correction over the last 12 days. And you never know the way a team responds to a loss like that, and it could be for the best.
Memphis, a very basketball-crazy town, and their fan base was really shaken more than most might think by that one loss. LeBrian Nash with the soft touch.
LeBrian Nash quietly, because of Markel Brown and Smart, is playing the best basketball of his 3 years.
Dixon with the long launch. Michael Dixon Jr. just 1 of 7 in 11 minutes in the last game.
But this is a guy that's the last year at Missouri in 11-12, he averaged almost 14 points a game on a team that won 30 games. Bill Pressey, Kim English.
Nash kicks it out this time to Brown. Brown draws the hit, and he'll go to the line for 2, the foul on Joe Jackson. Michael Dixon, the former Defensive Player of the Year, all-defensive team member in the Big 12. Can get it done on offense, too.
Guess what? He's the birthday boy. Bringing it up, blow out the candles.
Steve Weisman, Seth Greenberg in studio updating you on North Carolina UAB. First true road game of the season for the Tar Heels, and Rod Rucker, the blow-by coach.
Rucker doesn't have a 3 all season. You've got to keep him in front, make him a jump shooter. You cannot give him a straight line drive.
4-point lead right now, less than 2 minutes to go over on ESPNU. A 5-point game. 4 now as Creighton is coming back against GW. Back to Orlando, Mark and Fran.
Sure that Doug McDermott will have a lot to say about the final verdict in that game before it's all said and done. Back here, 4-point ball game, under 12 minutes to go. All part of Feast Week presented by Lowe's. What a great week we've seen, Fran, of college basketball. There's a look at Oklahoma State's close calls so far, Fran. They've had a habit of building up some big leads and then letting them slip.
Well, in this tournament, Travis Ford's point was, you know, obviously we've got to play 40 minutes. That's, you know, what every coach says, but he said it's good to win and learn this time of year. That Butler game came right down to the wire. A few missed free throws both ways. made that a dicey game for Oklahoma State. And I think they need games like that as they get ready for Big 12 play in early January.
Friend, you and I pointed out that he had Marcus Smart on the bench in a lot of those critical stretches late in the second half when the other teams were coming back.
Oh, that's exactly right, in the Purdue game. And he said afterwards he wanted his team to learn how to play without Smart. It's something that happened a number of times last year, Mark, because Smart had a propensity to get in foul trouble. Not as much so far this season.
Marcus Smart, the Player of the Year candidate. You can always hear his voice out there. He is always talking. He's always calling out the defense. He's calling out switch. He's encouraging his teammates. And those are some of the intangibles that some of the guys at the next level talk about him having that are so invaluable in addition to his talent.
Well, you see a little 2-2-1 pressure.
Dixon breaks the press. Out to Crawford, who knocks down the three.
They tried to double Dixon. Dixon with great court awareness. He knew Crawford was opposite slot and kicked it perfectly to him. Until tonight, Oklahoma State had never trailed by more than 4 points in a game this season. That happened early in the game versus Memphis and Stillwater.
Number 5 team in the country down by 5 right now.
You see how soft they're playing Murphy. They're just going to play off of Murphy. They're playing off of Williams.
Marcus Smart had it knocked away, got it back, and missed everything. Nichols with the nice block. And back come the Tigers. They'll run with it. And Dixon traveled. A little bit overzealous. That's the 4th turnover for the Tigers.
Yeah, Mike Hitz has made that call 10,000 times in his career. And as he winds down a Final Four career, he's doing the championship game tonight. Michael Dixon just slid that pivot foot.
Marcus Smart off to a little bit of a slow start here, Fran.
Well, scoring-wise, certainly.
Forte out top. Smart off the baseline screen.
You see, Chris Crawford right now is not even guarding Michael Williams.
Smart drew the contact and will go to the free throw line.
Take a look at where Chris Crawford is now. See, he gets by Jaron Johnson. See, if Crawford doesn't reach down, I'm not sure that's a foul.
That sends Smart to the foul line. There's a look at his numbers in the first meeting between these two teams. The majority of those 39 coming in the first half.
And a majority of those that came in the first half came in the last 10 minutes of the first half.
Yeah, a lot of three-pointers. He had 26 in the first half of that contest. So good that somebody put up the bat signal and Kevin Durant came into the building. He had to come and catch some of the action.
Boy, he struggled from the foul line. He was 0 for 3 down the stretch in that Butler game, Smart.
Nichols and Goodwin have been a factor playing that high-low game early here as we approach the midway point of the first half.
Watch the up screen here now. Watch Nichols coming to the ball. There he comes.
Posting up against Kamari Murphy. Nichols wheels with the left hand. Goodwin kept it alive, and that's going to be a goaltending against Michael Cobbins. Count it. And the lead is up to 6. He's got 5 in the ball game.
Nichols with a good post-up move. Goodwin cleaning up the backside.
And Marcus Smart is going to get a quick breather. Markel Brown will move over to the point guard spot. And we would be remiss if we didn't mention that one of the missing pieces for Oklahoma State in this ballgame, Fran, in contrast to the first meeting, Stevie Clark, their freshman point guard, back home at Oklahoma State working out some personal issues, not with the team.
Well, essentially he was suspended. Good block.
And a foul called on Nichols in the wake of that drive by Forte.
Now let's finish that story. Stevie Clark was sent home before the South Florida game last Sunday. Watch the drive here by Forte, who knows that if he gets himself fouled, he's going to get a chance to go to the line where he's almost automatic. And you know what, Mark? I've watched Forte since his freshman year in high school. He's always been a rock-solid, physically strong kid who can handle punishment.
Talk about a guy that gets up a lot of shots. He says he'll literally have hundreds of makes a day. Their sports information office doesn't know exactly how many when I ask them, but we'll guess it's around 500 or so a day.
Now you can make, if you have a good guy hustling for you, you can make about 250 shots in about 45 minutes. So I'd say you could make 500 shots in about an hour and a half if you're hunting.
Nobody uses the gun anymore? They
have the gun. They have the shooting gun, no question. No, they have the shooting gun.
Oh, you're talking about when you come back at nighttime. Yeah. 4-point ball game.
Here comes another up screen. Trying to get Goodwin.
Crawford got an open look. Good block out by Nash, who corrals the loose ball. Josh Pastner pointed out this is a balanced Oklahoma State team offensively, even with Smart on the bench.
Look where Crawford is not even guarding Brian Williams.
Forte with the soft touch. He's got 6.
Remember, Forte was the guy that Travis Ford targeted first. Yes, he was recruiting Smart. He wasn't sure he could get him, but it was because the way he recruited Forte that Smart got involved.
Nice dime and pass by Shaq Goodwin. You have to love his ebullience and his enthusiasm for this game. Lead at 4.
Remember, Nash has taken 1 3 so far this season. 118 a year ago.
Nice mid-range stroke, and he knocks it down.
That's about where his range is, Mark. And the reason he's improved this year is he's so much more willing to attack the basket and pull up and shoot that 15-footer, which he has a good soft touch.
Rid of the lead down to 2 points. Goodwin on the block. And he's fouled by Nash. Boy, they're banging bodies inside there. Folks, get close to all the action wherever you are with the new Sports Center app. Blazing fast scores, hottest news, highlights, analysis, access to your favorite Sports Center talent 24/7 via Twitter. You can download the new Sports Center app by calling *SC from your smartphone. As Shaq Goodwin goes to the foul line, a 74% free throw shooter on the season. A willing passer too, Frank.
Well, watch as he catches and he looks middle. See, anytime a post player looks middle, he locates where the defense is, where the double is coming from, where his teammates are cutting to, and how he's being guarded individually. That time perfectly done.
5 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists already for Goodwin as he goes 0 for 2 from the line.
Let's finish up Clark because there's some concern whether he'll come back. That decision will be made when Travis Ford gets back to Stillwater, trying to teach the freshman a lesson.
They've been in the state of Florida on the road for some time now, almost a week, as Kamari Murphy knocks down the mid-range jumper, and that's the first tie of the ball game at 23.
Oklahoma State has a number of unsung guys. Kamari Murphy has played terrific in this tournament. He's an energy guy. He's accepted his role as a junkyard dog.
Johnson to Goodwin. Goodwin goes glass. He's got 7. He's been the catalyst for them. 7.5 minutes to go. 2-point game. Marcus Smart getting set to check back into the ball game. Cobbins with the jump hook.
Nice tip. Yep.
By Kamari Murphy.
That's what Murphy does, Mark. I don't know that they'll run a play for him this season, but he's terrific on both backboards.
Much to Coach Pastner's point, this is a balanced team. It's not just Marcus Smart.
If you look at the first month of the season, you'd have to say Oklahoma State is played. They're one of the 4 best teams in the country right now, today.
Joe Jackson with a kick out. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. Great hustle by Murphy, who comes up with a loose ball. Up to Williams. And Williams lays it in.
Well, Goodwin let him go, almost like he didn't want to commit the foul.
I don't know what that was about. Maybe it's exactly that. The first lead of the ball game for Oklahoma State, coming with about 6.5 minutes to go. Nichols, and a bad pass by Johnson. That one never had a chance. 6 turnovers for Memphis. Brown turned the corner and got the bucket. Markel Brown in a timeout called by the Tigers. And Marcus Smart in some kind of discomfort there on the sidelines. while he was waiting to check into the ball game. And he's going to, well, it looks like he might have a little bit of an issue there on the sidelines. Remember, Phil Forte had the stomach flu in the first meeting between these two teams. And he didn't play too much. Don't want to say that's what Smart has, but sometimes those things can go around.
Watch this, Smart. We talked about Kamari Murphy, young man from Brooklyn, New York. You know Chaz Williams, the outstanding guard from UMass, teammates at Bishop Ford before he transferred to Lincoln High School, the school that produced Steph Marbury. But it's been all about that Brooklyn junkyard dog toughness that he's embraced on a team that has enough scoring.
He tipped that one in above the rim. We'll have to keep an eye on Marcus Smart. Looked like Shaq Goodwin just asked him whether he was all right there.
Now Smart's guarding Goodwin right now. Goodwin's been working them over in the post. Now they switch back.
Matched up on the taller King now. Dixon from deep. Blocked out and rebound by Marcus Smart. That's his third. It's Forte. They've been doing that since the 4th grade. Forte with 9.
But how do you leave him that open on that wing? All he needs is a little bit of space. Talking to a guy that's shooting over 60% from behind the arc.
A 13-2 run for Oklahoma State. A whistle and a foul. Smart and Forte played AAU ball together. High school ball together. That's a remix. 7-point lead for the Cowboys when we come back.
Steve Weissman, Seth Greenberg in studio. We are on upset alert right now. Carolina down 3 to UAB. Having trouble getting shots off, Coach.
Without P.J. Harrison, they are void of a go-to offensive player that can go get a shot off the bounce.
1 of 11 from 3, 3-point ball game. 2 seconds on the clock. We'll keep you updated.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. 7-point ball game here. Marcus Smart and Phil Forte. Fran, you've watched them play in Flower Mound, Texas, basically Dallas since high school. What makes this combination so unique and special?
As their high school coach has told us and told me many times, they never had a bad practice at Oklahoma State. Travis Ford has said the same thing. Everybody talks about Marcus Smart's toughness and his ability to grind it out every day. But it's both of those guys. And you know what, Mark? When you have guys like Marcus Smart, Phil Forte that come to practice every day, think about it. You look as a teammate foolish if you don't go as hard. And I'm going to tell you, that has rubbed off on this entire program. You know what's rubbed off the most? It's rubbed off on LeBron Nash. This is the hardest he's played in his life, and it's paying off.
Some impressive numbers, Fran, by both of them. Coming into this ball game, Forte having a much better night, especially than did the first time around when he was suffering from a stomach virus.
We told this story the other day. His dad played football in Kansas. That was a really good defensive lineman. There's Jack Goodwin.
A little bit of contact, but no call.
Smart got the block.
Smart can battle with those bigs a little bit. He goes 6'4", 225. And some of the NBA comparisons from some of the NBA people I speak with equate to Dwayne Wade in his body type. And Jason Kidd's
nice
skill
run out.
and motor. Goodwin on the fast break. Got them napping at the other end in transition. He's got 9.
Tigers needed an easy one because they had been struggling in the half court. What you like about Oklahoma State early in the year, they don't get rattled.
Forte working against Jackson. Here's Smart on the wing. Been quiet offensively, but passing well there to Markel Brown. Doesn't always have to score to impact the game, Fran.
Well, Markel Brown is so smart. He cut to the basket behind the defense, and Marcus Smart, once he got in the lane, you knew he was going to find him.
That ball tipped out of bounds. It'll be Memphis basketball. You talked about the positive effect that Marcus Smart has had on his teammates. Markel Brown, another one. He would hang out a lot with him this summer and get up a few hundred shots, and Brown going to some of those skills academies to improve his basketball presence and skill.
You see Markel Brown comes in your picture late, and that's because he was in the deep corner. Once Smart got to the lane, he just cut behind the defense. Well, Markel Brown told me at media day in the Big 12, I said, be honest with me, is there any resentment? He said, no, Coach. He goes, he's made all of us better. We all understand what he means to us. It's that, it's that Jason Kidd, LeBron type mentality that he has. Everybody around you becomes a better player.
Crawford with a wide open J, knocks it down. Chris Crawford, and one of those seniors, a local product as well from Memphis. He's got 6.
It's important for Memphis' psyche, Mark, to stay in this game at the half. They don't want to go down double figures.
Smart off the baseline screen. Still trying to find the mark offensively. Oklahoma State trying to avoid the upset. Carolina already has been upset tonight, we're just told. Back with more on the other side.
Steve Weissman in studio. Coming up on the Land Rover halftime report, we'll give our grades for the month of November. Find out who Seth Greenberg thinks was the best player, best team, and his biggest surprise. And UAB taking down North Carolina tonight. How they beat a top 25 team for the first time since 2009. Coach, me and you coming up at the half. Back to Orlando.
Jared Haas's team getting it done. Meanwhile, speaking of coaches, Josh Pastner almost seemed predisposed to be a coach, going back to his days as a walk-on player right there at the University of Arizona.
I've known Josh since he was 17 years old. He coached his father's AAU team, Houston Hoops, at that age. He went to University of Arizona. I had a conversation with Jet Terry about 2 years ago, Mark, and he said Josh Pastner was the reason Mike Bibby and I had so much success in the NBA, because when they were teammates, Josh would take them to the gym at night and just feed them jump shot after jump shot. He didn't want to shoot. He just wanted those guys to get better. And I talked to Miles Simon today, and he said he was the guy that kept telling our team in '97, we can win it all. And we were looking at him like, who's this walk-on telling us we can win it all? And he said by the end of the season, they believed him.
Joe Jackson with a force. That Pastner's averaged 27 wins a year in his 5 years at Memphis.
That's got to be a call, either a block or a charge. You can't have that kind of collision.
You know, that's the one thing we haven't mentioned in this game is the officiating, Fred. It's been, for the most part, pretty well played, right?
It's been solid. It's been a little bit more physical than other games. But remember, you got 3 guys out here that are Final Four officials, and they're letting guys play.
Goodwin inside off the lob. They made him think about it. Nichols couldn't get the tip, and Cobbins clears for the Cowboys.
Well, Goodwin was patient. He waited to go up, and then he missed point blank, as did Nichols. But a couple good looks. That's what I'm talking about. They've got to convert those baskets before the half. Don't want to see the Cowboys go on an 8-0 run here.
They're smart out top.
See, they're not guarding Brian Williams.
Left wide open, and he made them pay that time.
Yep. They have not guarded him since he came out of the locker room, trying to clog the lane.
So Williams and his teammates trying to make up for the 1 for 5 from the field that Marcus Smart has put up so far. That jumper way off the mark by Karan Iverson. Forte. Smart spins through traffic. What a time! Marcus Smart to Cobbins.
Started by Forte. A baseline drive and drift. Mark, I thought he was going to make the extra pass on the perimeter, but he attacked the paint. You talk about a paint touch right here. Here's a great example of it.
8-point lead for the Cowboys, their largest of the ball game, and Smart showing that he's a good passer too, Fran.
Well, he does just about everything, but take a look. You see, the great thing about being his teammate is just move to an open area and he'll find you. Cobbins sneaks in on the backside. They don't seal down the backside, the white jerseys. And Mark, I said it earlier, if you're Memphis right now, you do not want to go into this half with a double-digit deficit.
Don't forget, folks, coming up Tuesday, 9:15 p.m., Journey to the Tourney, continuing on ESPN. Duke taking on Michigan. Number 6 against number 22. ESPN's Journey to the Tourney, presented by Sonic, a season-long spotlight on games that will impact the tournament. The Big Ten ACC Challenge, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Part of that Journey to the Tourney, Tuesday at 9:15 on ESPN. What's Memphis do coming out of this timeout, friend? Who do they go to?
Well, I think you can still have success going inside right now. I think both Goodwin and Nichols have shown that they can play inside. There you go.
Shaq Goodwin fouled by Forte. Much to the dismay of Travis Ford. And that sends Shaq Goodwin to the free throw line, where he struggled a little bit tonight.
See, right here you see the opportunity to drive it. And then a little bit of the wrist action by Phil Forte.
We talked about Coach Pastner, Fran, when he took over this Memphis program, remember, folks, was on probation. And he's built it back up, winning 27 games a year and graduating players and doing it the right way.
Well, there's no question, Mark, that the program's on solid footing. The recruiting's been terrific. The next step for Josh Pastner is to start to beat some of these elite teams if you want to be called an elite program yourself.
Moving into a new conference this year.
That's right. The American, obviously, with Louisville and Connecticut at the top of that league, along with Cincinnati.
He'll be a little bit more tested going into the tournament this year.
SMU coming off a huge win last night over Virginia.
And watch out for Coach Larry Brown down there. 15 on the shot clock for Forte. Smart battling against Jackson for position. Ball knocked out of bounds by Joe Jackson. 7 on the shot clock for Oklahoma State. Ford calls out the play.
See if they can get it right back to Smart. Can't do it.
Brown rising up for the jumper. Rebounded by Memphis. All white shirts around that time.
Boy, Smart knocked it loose.
He got back tapped. And Smart with an easy one. That might get him going. He's got 5 in the game. Under a minute to go.
You haven't learned your lesson yet, Mark. Points mean nothing to this guy. You know what I'm saying? I mean that.
He has really impacted the game, even though he hasn't had a great night shooting it. Nichols battling for position. Johnson off the mark. Williams with the rebound.
One shot here if you're Oklahoma State.
So they're going to run it down a little bit. .13 on the clock. And Johnson commits the foul. That's the 7th team foul. And that'll send them to the line. That's 2 fouls on Johnson.
Watch Marcus Smart now reach from behind here. Pokes it loose, could have been a foul actually. But you know what I like about Markel Brown having the ball at the end of the shot clock? Travis Ford shares the sugar. He knows Marcus Smart can have the ball out top, late clock, get a shot anytime he wants. But he's got to make sure.
Tip ran by Williams.
Got to make sure he keeps his seniors involved.
Well, they get 2, but not from the foul line. With 5 seconds to go. Kamari Murphy coming to the ball game. Leighton Hammond's also coming in. Forte will sit down. Christian Sager will sub in for Travis Ford as well. Great tip here off the miss, though, by Williams. A lot of dynamic, imperious, strong players on that Cowboy team. A lot of interchangeable, nice parts.
You see, Travis Ford's got all his key guys out there so they can't commit a foul.
Crawford on the drive. And he'll go to the free throw line. The foul is going to go against Christian Sager, the 6'4" junior.
Chris Crawford, a guy that's had a terrific career at Memphis. MVP of Conference USA's tournament a year ago. Really was one of the top 6 men in the country.
There's a distinct Memphis flavor on this Memphis team. Smart coming back in along with Markel Brown. Nick King also in the ball game for Memphis. 2.5 to go.
Memphis is staring, Mark, at that double-digit deficit we talked about. I think psychologically it's going to wound them going into the locker room the way they played.
A couple of misses by Crawford. He made one earlier in this tournament. Marcus Smart getting a big lift from his teammates. Just 2 of 6 from the field. And he may not be 100% physically. We're at the break. Right now we're going to go to the studio. Steve Wiseman, Seth Greenberg with the Land Rover halftime report. Guys?
All right, thank you, Mark. This is the Land Rover halftime report. We start with North Carolina visiting UAB. First true road game of the season for the Tar Heels. Second half, Blazers up a couple. Rod Rucker, 2 of his 11.
Great job right there by Marcus Page, getting in the lane, drawing the foul. But this game came down to offensive rebounding and Carolina's inability to keep UAB off the foul line. Chad Frazier, he goes for 25 He shot 14 free throws. You know what? Carolina only shot 11.
Well, this team went 1 of 12 from 3, Coach. Is that bad?
Not good.
Yeah, UAB holds on to win 69-64. Blazers coach Jared Haas, he was an assistant under Roy Williams for 13 seasons at Carolina and Kansas. Played with him at Kansas as well. Coach Seth Greenberg, Steve Weissman with you here on the Land Rover Halftime Report. A program-defining win for Haas, and maybe Coach Williams is kind of thinking we shouldn't have gone down there.
You got to give Roy Williams credit for playing this game on the road, taking Carolina to UAB for his former assistant coach. That is a program win for UAB and a resume win for Jared Haas. But this game was won with UAB's ability to attack Carolina. 21 offensive rebounds. And Chad Frazier, he shoots 14 free throws, 25 points. Carolina as a team, they only go to the line 11 times.
Right now at the half here, a 10-point lead for the Cowboys over Memphis. Last time they played, it was 50-32, so an 8-point difference. But the big difference is Marcus Smart had 26 points at the half last game, just 5 now. So what are the Tigers doing to shut him down?
Well, I think they're shrinking the court. And for a while, they kept the game in a half-court situation. They slowed the pace of the game down. They can't trade baskets with Oklahoma State. They've got to make it a half-court game, and they've got to pound it inside. And early in the game, they did a nice job of dictating the tempo by playing inside out. Here's a really nice high-low with Shaq Goodwin. Austin Nichols does a terrific job of sealing his defender, targeting, and I call that rolling out with the high-low. The key for Memphis, don't get caught up in the pace of the game. They need to make this more of a half-court game, a grinded-out game. They need to play inside out. Shaq Goodwin is giving them quality minutes. That game gets in the open court, and all of a sudden the athleticism of Oklahoma State takes over, and the physicality of Oklahoma State takes over. I'll tell you a guy that gave Oklahoma State great minutes, Kamani Murphy. He turned the game around with 50-50 effort plays.
All right, well, we'll see if Marcus Smart can turn it around and get back to what we're expecting from the super sophomore. Calendar switching over, Coach. It is time to give our grades for the month of November. Seth will tell us who was the best player, best team, and biggest surprise.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. And Tyco Integrated Security. Safer, smarter, Tyco. This halftime report is presented by Land Rover. Above and beyond.
We start with the Shockers, looking to go 8-0 in back-to-back seasons for the first time since 1981, taking on St. Louis. Under 4 minutes to play. Billikens down 2. Jordair Jet answers with a 3, so they're up 1. Now tied at 64. Ron Baker down low had 22.
Ron Baker had 22. He's had 4 consecutive 20-point games. He didn't have a 20-point game prior to that in his career.
Wichita State and Clay Anthony early hold on 70-65 victory. Meanwhile, GW and Creighton, this one over on ESPNU. Doug McDermott, National Player of the Year candidate, but well, GW is defending him down low.
They're defending him down low because they're defending him with 6'9" Isaiah Armwood. He's contesting shots, and he's taking away his low post game.
That was Armwood on offense. In the second half, it's Joe McDonald getting the reverse 6-point lead. Later, GW, Keithan Savage going coast to coast, and Ethan Ragg, one of the top 3-point shooters. Raggi, one of the top 3-point shooters in the game.
Creighton does a great job of executing the half court. They're one of the most efficient offensive teams in the country.
So we will keep you updated on that. It is December 1st, so it is time to break down the month of November. Who do you think, in your opinion, the best player last month was?
Well, you know, a lot of people would say Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart's had a great month of November, but I'm going to go with Jabari Parker. No player affects the game in more ways than Jabari Parker. You can post him up, he can score in a block. He gets a defensive rebound, he can initiate your fast break. He can shake you, freeze you, jump up and knock down a jumper. And for a freshman at 6'8", 235, he can play through contact. Jabari Parker, to me, he's a mixture of Carmelo Anthony and Scottie Pippen.
Who's your best
team of the month?
Yeah.
The Arizona Wildcats. Are you kidding me? They go to San Diego State, one of the toughest places in the country to win, and they win that basketball game. They beat Duke in Madison Square Garden. That's Durham North. You're talking about a complete defensive team. T.J. McConnell's added a new dimension to this team, and Nick Johnson may be their best player, not Aaron Gordon. They might be undersized, but they find a way to get it done.
Ever since your daughter Jackie enrolled at Villanova to play volleyball, look what the basketball team
things
is doing.
are happening for Jay Wright. What can I say?
Are happening. Let's see who the top scorers are in the nation right now. Antoine Mason from Niagara leading the country, more than 31 a game. Doug McDermott may drop off this list with tonight's performance. UConn transfer Roscoe Smith. How about the way he rebounds the ball?
16 rebounds a game. That is absolutely boarding the ball.
And LIU's Jason Brickman leading the country in assists, nearly 10 a ball game. We'll be right back.
This halftime report is presented by Land Rover. Above and beyond. Welcome back to the Land Rover Halftime Report.
What to watch for coming up next, 9:30 Eastern. Marquette taking on San Diego State in the DirecTV Wooden Legacy Championship game. The Golden Eagles have won 27 of their last 32 games against unranked opponents. Should be a dandy right here. Earlier, VCU and Belmont. Christian Retton. Half court, halftime, nothing but the bottom, coach.
Money. How about that?
Oh,
how
look
about
at
that? How good is that?
That's pretty good. That's like when you score a goal in soccer. He probably made some sort of money.
I would hope.
Scholarship.
You don't make a half-court shot and get some cash.
There you go. Congratulations. Travion Graham, he gets a scholarship for doing that.
Travion Graham and Javonte Reddick, a tough 1-2 punch. They combined for 34 points.
Well, the win streak is over. Belmont had it, 23 straight, but after that loss to VCU, the honor now belongs to the Mizzou Tigers. They've won 22 in a row. They'll host West Virginia Thursday, 7:30 Eastern, right here on ESPN2. Of course, Cameron Indoor up there. Marcus Smart, well, he has not been able to do it scoring-wise, but he has been able to do it dishing. Finds Michael Cobbins, a 10-point lead for the Cowboys. Second half coming up next from Orlando.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. And Gildan, we make your new favorite activewear, underwear, and socks. Gildan, every thread counts. You're watching ESPN's Feast Week, presented by Lowe's.
The Magic Kingdom, aglow at night. The place where magic happens. Look for a little magic on the court if you're a Memphis fan right now. Welcome back to the Old Spice Classic as part of Feast Week presented by Lowe's. Our score at the break, Oklahoma State leading 42-32 behind 11 game-leading points so far from Shaq Gooden for Memphis. Balanced scoring, meanwhile, Fran Fraschilla coming on the part of the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Fran, when you go back to the last part, the last 10 minutes of the first half, the Cowboys, who were down, went plus 10, actually plus 16 in the final 10 minutes. How did they do it?
Well, team effort. You mentioned the balanced scoring. 7 different Cowboys have scored. Everybody's got at least 2 field goals. Nobody's got more than 3. And that's what makes this team so tough. It's not about the guy that we talk about a lot, Marcus Smart. It's about these other, I don't want to call them role players because they're very good players. O'Brien Nash, former McDonald's All-American. Phil Forte shooting over 50% from behind the arc. Strategy for Memphis in the first half. Leave Brian Williams open. So what does he do? Steps into a 15-foot jump shot, knocks it down. Cobbin scored. Kamari Murphy scored. There's Smart with the steal and the easy layup. So this team is about more than Marcus Smart's scoring ability.
There's a look at some of the balance that we alluded to a moment ago. Brown, Cobbins, not usually that involved offensively with 6. Nash and Williams all contributing as well.
If you're Memphis right now, Mark, I talked about the double-digit deficit. You've got to get this game back to 4 or 6 in the first few minutes. You do not want Oklahoma State to extend this lead.
Joe Jackson, meanwhile, Fran, from Memphis, who is one of their leading scorers coming into this game. Actually, their leading scorer coming in has not gotten a point tonight. How is his offensive inefficiency so far going to affect the outcome for Memphis?
Well, it's a great question because in the first game he was basically non-existent as well. Marcus Smart guarded him in the first game. This time Markel Brown has had the assignment and done a very, very good job. Smart is guarding Goodwin.
Wow. Goodwin got his own rebound, fouled and won. And Shaq Goodwin will go to the free throw line, try and complete the 3-point play. He's got 13. And what do you make of that matchup that Smart's guarding right now?
You know, I don't understand it because Smart did such a good job in the first game. But you know what? Marcus Smart normally can guard this kind of player. But you're talking about a Shaq Goodwin who's played with great energy tonight.
Talked about it in the first half, how he really got straightened out nutritionally and got in the weight room, remade his body, and able to play above the rim a little bit more than he did a season ago.
And Joe Jackson's going to hawk the ball.
It was Joe Jackson that said after the last game, I guarantee, folks, the next time we get them, if we do, we'll compete a lot harder. Smart blocked by Crawford.
They built a wall, a good white wall that keeps Smart from getting in the lane.
And Jackson came alive there with a pull-up. Joe Jackson with his first bucket of the game, and in a blink, the 10-point lead is down to 5.
This is the kind of start that Josh Pastner needed. That first game in Stillwater got away from them late first half. They never recovered.
They set the high ball screen for Smart. Threw up a wild one. And here comes Jackson. The pull-up. Crawford. Another opportunity. Jackson. Wow, they missed 3 in a row. All good looks.
I think right now Marcus Smart was trying to get himself going by hurtling into the basket. There's another challenge.
And Goodwin blocked it.
To the rim. He was thinking rim too early.
Nice crossover and spin move.
Oh, we got a little contact.
Timeout, Oklahoma State.
This young man from Dayton, Ohio, couple junior colleges, explosive athlete, the spin, the finish. Tigers back in it.
Welcome back, everyone. 42-39 as Memphis sprints out of the gate in the second half with a 7-0 run. Fran, you had a chance to speak with our officials, Mike Kitts, Brian Kersey, and Roger Ayers. What's the decision here?
Well, we saw this go into break when Jerron Johnson's hands came up on Marcus Smart. This is going to be an easy call. It's a flagrant one. Now Marcus Smart somehow seems to get himself involved in these plays every single game. But watch, Johnson scores. There's a timeout. The ball becomes dead. And then you'll see the push right there to the throat. And it's an easy call to make.
Dead ball. So Forte will go to the free throw line. He's got 9. As we mentioned, it's about as automatic as it comes when Phil Forte gets to the strike.
Right. Now, Mark, keep in mind, because remember we said it was a dead ball?
Right.
So it becomes a dead ball contact technical foul, which simply means that anybody can shoot the 2 free throws. And guess who you have up there? So now Oklahoma State will keep the ball at midcourt. Johnson will be charged with a personal foul. Oklahoma State keeps the ball. Basically, that basket by Johnson gets wiped out. Talking about 3 guys here who have done high-level games in the NCAA tournament. Easy call to make.
And Johnson comes out of the ball game, too. Up to a 5-point lead. Smart posting up. Forte off the kick out. They've been doing that for a dozen years. 16 for Forte.
Amazing. And you know what? Smart drew defense to him. You cannot leave Forte. You must treat him as a no-help guy.
And keep in mind, folks, it wasn't a package deal for Forte to go along with Smart for Oklahoma State.
Almost the other way.
Nichols blocked by Cobbins emphatically.
Michael Cobbins is a redshirt junior. Young man out of Amarillo. He's worked hard on his body. He's come to an understanding of what his game is all about, and what it is protecting the rim first.
There's Jackson. And that's going to be a foul against LeBron Nash. See, I show on the screen and roll.
I said this, and then Butler, I thought, did this almost to perfection. When you play a tough physical team, you must challenge them with your own physicalness. You cannot baby shots at the rim. You must attack Oklahoma State inside, right at them.
Brian Nash is going to sit down. 6 points, that's his 3rd foul. Amari Murphy came in for him. Here's Michael Dixon. Quick pull-up, and Dixon is on the money. A lot of experience in Michael Dixon.
Well, he can heat up, there's no question.
And at this point, this game is a lot closer than the last one was at this time. Brown. They got a switch as Smart is matched up against Dixon. Wow. Forte a deep 3. Great rebound tip and a foul as Cobbins skied high over the rim and was fouled during his effort.
You know, it might be an optical illusion. I thought that ball still had a chance to go in. Forte shot that ball very softly. Let's take a look right here, Mark. This ball hung up there. Wow.
Tough to tell from that angle.
Yeah.
We'll see this one. Better depth perception.
It was coming off for sure. But it hung around there. Michael Cobbins again doing the dirty work.
This might be as active as we've seen him offensively all season. Michael Cobbins, the 6'8" junior from Amarillo. Folks, the Big Ten ACC Challenge kicking off Tuesday. 4 legendary programs: Indiana, Syracuse at 7:15, Michigan and Duke at 9:15. Jabari Parker off to maybe the best start amongst the freshmen, Fran. Fair to say him and Randall?
I think so, yeah. Those 2 guys certainly. Wiggins is, I wouldn't say he's struggling a little bit, but he's not playing up to what many people had as the expectations of the #1 player in the country.
Run out after the miss. Jackson with the layup. Oh, they slept in transition. And they made the Cowboys pay.
If you're Memphis right now, you want to be rock solid. You must concern yourself with Brown shooting it, but otherwise I would pack this defense in, even on Smart. Make him beat you over the top.
Sending that screener to the baseline. Brown with the floater. Cobbins with the rebound and fouled. Oklahoma State doing a nice job, friend, on the offensive glass.
On the other hand, take a look at the orange jerseys that don't get back quickly in transition. Joe Jackson just blows that ball up the court. Joe Jackson, who came to Memphis as one of the most heralded players in the history of that city. First couple years, Mark, there was a sense that he was a disappointment. But he's going to end his career as one of Memphis's all-time great players.
There's Smart working against Crawford, raising up for the jumper.
Look at this job.
Another big rebound, but Murphy couldn't keep the handle.
If I'm going to lose tonight and I'm Memphis, I make Marcus Smart beat me over the top with threes. Because there's too much contact inside.
Jackson kicks it out. Baseline jumper no good. And rebound to Oklahoma State. Smart. He was out of control the entire way. Oklahoma State with 5 turnovers. That's good buddy Forte. Tell him to pump the brakes a little bit. Sometimes you spin just a little bit out of control. Memphis outscoring Oklahoma State by 6 in the second half so far, folks, as we take a look at tonight's performance run of the game, brought to you by Royal Purple. And Fran, how have they gotten this momentum in their favor here?
Well, first of all, we talked about, Mark, the key is just staying in striking distance. Started to get good looks, got out in transition a little bit, hit the boards. Jaron Johnson with the spin to the basket, and it's psychological. You heard me say this in the first half as Jackson gets out, gets all the way before those orange jerseys can set up. You want to be able to look at the scoreboard with 10, 12, 8 minutes to go and see a 4-point game if you're Memphis. You don't want to look up and try to come back from 12. Last time they played in Stillwater, the game was over by now. But when you play a team like Oklahoma State, you just want to shorten the game so that the last 5 minutes becomes the 14th and 15th rounds of a prize fight.
Well, Fran, Josh Pastner said that they were going to make some, what was the term he used, corrective measures?
Yep. It was a wake-up call, there's no question.
After that first one.
See, Oklahoma State once again changes defenses out of the timeout, and they do this a lot. They show zone, and they go right back to man.
Jackson on the baseline.
See, Markel Brown still with
Great pocket
pass. Wow, how about Cobbins?
Michael Cobbins packs it.
But, Mark, that's what I'm talking about. With Shaq Goodwin and Austin Nichols, you cannot baby the ball at the rim. You must go to the defender's body. Now, this is a freshman. Watch him roll. There's no contact at all. So now you're just going to allow Cobbins to use his athleticism.
Chance to cut it to Duke Dixon. And rebounded by Smart. Numbers 2-on-1. Williams losing the handle out of bounds.
See, if you're Austin Nichols right here, take the ball through Cobbins' chest. Because if you don't do that, you're going to allow his length to be involved in the play.
Cobbins getting a breather.
You watch enough NBA basketball, offensive players in the post, they attack the defense.
Got to close that distance as Crawford with the sweet left-hand layup makes it a 2-point game. This is as close as Memphis has been in a long time.
Third straight game in Orlando that Oklahoma State's lead has shrunk in the second half.
Forte. Ball screen coming. Smart drives it right into the freshman Austin Nichols and creates the foul. Marcus Smart, pretty adept at running that ball screen, and he got downhill on that ball screen.
And you know why, Mark? They're downing him, which means they're trying to keep him on the side. But in keeping him on the side, guess who he gets to attack? Austin Nichols. So what does he do? He goes to his body on the drive. Just like we talked about with Nichols not going to the body of Cobbins on the other end.
A lot about said about him improving his shooting over the offseason, friend. Is tonight the norm or an anomaly if you were to take a guess at it?
I think, he's definitely a better shooter than he was a year ago percentage-wise. But if I'm going to guard him, I'm going to guard his drives and not his jump shot. Because on his drives, he allows himself to get his teammates involved.
Memphis down by 3. Jackson probing. Crawford's jumper short. And rebounded by the Cowboys. Good help defense by Goodwin. Forte coming off some staggered screens. And now Brown pops out. Markel Brown went high but missed the shot. Dixon, Nichols, foul. Markel Brown looking at the officials. He wanted a call at the other end as he took off. He's incensed right now with the referees.
Well, what he did was he went opposite of Dixon and he got himself to the rim. Take a look now, watch, excuse me, it's going to be Jackson. He goes opposite, so he gets the baseline drive, and there's the attack at the rim. Looks like he got hit from behind at the very end of the play. Watch Nichols. Right there, he fouled him on the shoulder.
Nonetheless, at the other end, Austin Nichols, the freshman out of Tennessee, going to the foul line. Number 37 ESPN U top 100 recruit last year.
He was recruited by North Carolina, among others, certainly in-state, Tennessee, Vanderbilt.
Had 7 points in that earlier loss to Oklahoma State in Stillwater. And has a chance here to bring his team to within 1. Nichols a 57% free throw shooter on the season. There's 1 for 2. Brown in rhythm. Do you like that shot, friend? Does it matter?
Yep, no, it's fine. It's a good shot. He's been making it all season.
That's the 8th turnover, meanwhile, for the Tigers.
Markel Brown had a wide open three. It's something he's knocked down at a high rate all season.
Spent time this past summer, Markel Brown did, at the LeBron James Skills Academy, the Kevin Durant Skills Academy. Came back much improved. But Brian Nash back into the ballgame.
I've said this a couple days now in Orlando, Oklahoma State. If they want to compete for the Big 12 title and they want to compete for a national championship, they need to execute in games like this. This is good for them, Mark.
Nice pass, a little bit hot, and Nash couldn't find the handle. As you speak of Oklahoma State and competing in games like this, does the road to the Big 12 championship still go through Lawrence this year?
Yeah, of course it does.
Okay.
Because of the 9 straight titles now. Bill Self will tell you his team is not playing well right now, coming out of the battle for Atlantis, but we are a long way from January 18th, the first matchup between the Cowboys and the Jayhawks in Allen Fieldhouse.
Can't wait. Jackson working against Forte. Crawford on the drive. Might have gotten away with a push-off, no call. Tell you what, the Cowboys are really defending the rim well tonight.
They are, and it's been a physical game, but it's been physical both ways.
Marcus Smart has not gotten untracked offensively tonight. Oklahoma State offensively struggling in the second half. Nash goes quick. Whoa! Rejected by Goodwin. Dixon on the move. And Smart got it, but it's goaltending. And it's tied at 48. Shaq Goodwin looked like he was taking a victory lap.
He's just happy to be out here. Take a look now. A rejection at the rim, and watch Michael Dixon. He's done this before. To the rim with authority.
Marcus Smart, the Player of the Year candidate nationally, and also the Player of the Year candidate in the Big 12. Struggling so far, friend. 2 of 9 from the field. What do you make of the way that Memphis has played him tonight?
Well, they've done a good job of going after him, and then Marcus Smart, I think, Mark, sometimes his aggressiveness gets him in trouble a little bit. Not here, as he gets body to body on Austin Nichols. And we were talking about down defense. Take a look at this, Mark. They don't want Marcus Smart to use the screen, so they want to keep him on the sideline. But let's freeze it, guys. When you push him to the sideline, now he's got to attack the big. because they flipped the screen, and now he's got an advantage attacking Austin Nichols. Watch how he goes body to body on Nichols. Now that's what you see in the NBA every single night, how to attack the big defender in the pick and roll. Does it well there.
The foul, but a big difference in production tonight, at least with his offensive stats. Just 6 points compared to the career-high 39 that he put up in the first meeting.
I think what happens with a guy this competitive is that competitiveness can also get you in trouble by you trying to will yourself on the game. And I think at least individually, he certainly struggled tonight.
See what Travis Ford runs coming out of this timeout.
And he keeps trying to go to Nash and isolate Goodwin. He's 0 for 2 last 2 possessions.
Nash losing his balance and turning it over. Chance for Memphis to take the lead now, folks, with under 11.5 to go. They last led 25-23 with 7.5 minutes left in the first half. Nice move by Crawford. Goodwin, and Memphis has the lead.
Smart gamble, came up empty. It was a 5-on-4.
Smart to the bucket, draws another foul. Man, he really gets going downhill when they set that flat screen.
He understands the rules. Now watch this. Now here's the gamble. Now the drive. It becomes 5-on-4. And then Crawford with the nice dish. Good head fake. And a good finish by Shaq Crawford coming right at you. Good patience. Boy, Shaq Crawford, not only has he played the game with enthusiasm tonight, love his ability to score around the rim.
Smart knocks down the free throw. Smart tonight. Now 3 for 5 from the line. A bunch of NBA guys here courtside tonight, Brandon, speaking with them once again. You hear the Dwayne Wade / Jason Kidd comparisons.
Well, he's a unique player, Mark, because of the type of things he brings to your team, the energy, the defense, never taking a day off in practice.
Jackson kicks it out.
Right now, if you're Josh Passer, this is the position you wanted to be in 30 minutes ago.
And great help defense by Williams coming from the weak side. But tonight, turnover. Smart way off.
This reminds me of a Johnny Manziel or A.J. McCarron, you know, misfiring on some easy looks.
Nichols, tough move, well contested, and LeBron Nash back the other way. Nash on the move.
Look at that! Oh!
That's a man-sized jam.
This is a completely different LeBron Nash, who shot 118 threes his first 2 seasons in Stillwater. And they have a technical.
And we do have a technical on LeBron Nash. He was pretty amped up after that slam.
I didn't see if he taunted at the end of this, but this was coast to coast coming right at you. Take a look now.
Looked like he was saying let's go on his way down to the court to his teammates. He might have looked at one of the officials and said something. I certainly didn't see anything there. Well, in the meantime and in between time, he'll take a seat. And Memphis has cut the lead to 1.
Well, Travis Ford did not complain. He's just sitting there. And O'Brien's trying to sort it all out with a couple of his teammates.
Friend, what do you do as a coach, a guy who's contributing and has that kind of enthusiasm? How long do you leave him there for?
I think you let him cool off a little bit, but I'm telling you, this is a different LeBron Nash. They're going to need him down the stretch, especially if Smart keeps struggling to score.
Jackson turned the corner and couldn't cash in. Wow, at the rim, Pelham couldn't either.
Pelham, yep, the transfer's coming off knee surgery, not at full strength.
Boy, look at Joe Jackson trying to deny Smart the basketball. Set that screen for him. Tried to pass it, and the help came. He turns it over.
give Joe Jackson credit. Did a good job of moving his feet. Take a look now. See, Joe Jackson's legally guarding him just because there's contact. As long as there's no bar arm, no hand check, and he moves his feet, he's in good position right there.
It was Joe Jackson that guaranteed everybody, we will compete. And Michael Dixon helping pay off on that promise. He's got 10.
It's his birthday today.
Memphis leading by 1. Smart went to the court hard. He crashed to the court.
Well,
he took a hit.
He plays this way. You know, he does a great job of initiating contact, Mark. You know, you love so many things about him. Take a look now. He's just barreling in there. And then David Pelham said, welcome to the paint.
Looked like Dixon
got
him on the arm.
I think they'll go look at this now. I think they have to look at this because of the excessive contact.
I'm not so sure that Marcus Smart didn't sell that just a little bit.
No, they're not going to. They're just going to call it 2 free throws.
He's going to go to the line with a chance to give Oklahoma State a lead as Smart looks at his arm. And they're not even going to say it's a shooting foul. Side out.
Here's the thing about Marcus Smart. If he's on your team, you absolutely love him. If he's the opponent, you can't stand him.
It's like that for a lot of great players.
No question.
Brown backs it out. Offensive foul. Boy, Memphis with a nice defensive sequence that time.
Well, this is, take a look now. Good position. And then Markel Brown just runs Pelham over. Now, Oklahoma State has been here a couple of times this week in terms of losing their composure at times in the second half. They must regain their composure. But credit Memphis. They're going to make this a 15-rounder if they can.
Under 8.5 to go. Jackson with the dime. Pelham lost control and then knocked it off of Murphy. It'll stay Tiger basketball underneath as Forte checks in.
This is good old-fashioned basketball right here. Both of these teams are competing. Pelham, I think, loses this right there, but stays with it. Hey, both teams are battling. This is fun.
Crawford on the drive, whistle, but a foul called before. And for both teams now with 16 fouls.
Now we wondered how Memphis's mindset would be coming into this game, and they have they're showing that they can go toe-to-toe.
Seeking that all-elusive first victory against the top 25 team.
For Josh Pastner.
Josh Pastner, yep. 0-13 all time. And the birthday boy lighting up the night. 13 for Michael Dixon Jr.
Remember, he was so instrumental on that 30-5 Memphis Missouri team a couple years ago for Frank Haith.
The lead up to 5. Brown off the screen, raising up and knocking down a long 2.
Big shot. Markel Brown, just a good rhythm shot off the ball screen.
7.5 to go. There's Dixon. Got a mismatch here. See if he can take advantage of it. Goodwin wrestling with Cobbins underneath. And they're going to get Cobbins for the foul. Michael Dixon. Oh yeah, it's your birthday.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Old Spice. Get unnecessary freshness and start winning everything today. Audi, Truth in Engineering, and Wendy's. proud sponsor of the 2014 John R. Wooden Men's Player of the Year Award.
Steve Weissman, Seth Greenberg in studio. Number 3, Kentucky taking on Providence in Brooklyn. James Young, 3 of his 9, coach.
He's the one Wildcat that can stretch the defense and knock down threes.
5-point lead for the Wildcats currently. How about this? New BCS standings are out. The 2 unbeatens, Florida State and Ohio State, 1 and 2. Following the Iron Bowl, Alabama drops down to 4. Auburn up to 3. They'll play number 5 Missouri for the SEC championship.
All right, meanwhile here, this Oklahoma State basketball team now down only 2 instead of 3 because as part of the new rules, the officials go back and look at the monitor and check during the break, and they discovered that the Michael Dixon 3 a moment ago was actually a 2, so it's now 56-54.
That's right. They wait until the TV timeout, and that's what was discussed. It was handled. Take a look there, Mark. This is the 3rd game where Oklahoma State has had a lead at the half and let it slip away. They've come back in the first 2, obviously.
Goodwin going to the foul line. Shooting the bonus, 1 and 1. Putting 16 points, 8 rebounds.
Be anxious to see what Travis Ford runs next play. They've been very successful out of timeouts in this tournament.
I'm going to call a lane violation against the Cowboys, and Goodwin will get another opportunity. Marcus Smart up court.
Run a little floppy action. First Forte, now watch Markel Brown.
Forte went to come off the screen, comes back off of it, curls into the lane and draws the foul.
Boy, that's good basketball. They ran Forte off a flare screen, Mark, then a down screen, and once he caught it, he was allowed to get into the lane, draw the foul, and putting him at the line is almost automatic.
Well, last year he broke James Anderson's freshman record for three-pointers made. Tonight he's 6 for 6 from the foul line.
Watch him now. Watch him get the flare screen first. Then he's going to come back off the down screen. Once he gets off the down screen, he's getting into the lane and drawing contact.
And he cashes in both. 1-point game. Crawford off the baseline screen. Jackson over Forte. And Joe Jackson is coming alive. He's got 7 here, all in the second half.
He took Forte to the foul line, just elevated up over him.
Forte off the screen. There's Brown. Back out to Forte. Lots of time on the shot clock. Down to 10. Brown rising up. Boy, that's a pretty looking jump shot, friend.
When he gets one or two dribbles, Mark, and elevates, he's become really, really consistent over time. It's a young man that was a Louisiana Player of the Year. His team went 41-0. He knows how to win.
Really speaks to the development portion of the program at Oklahoma State. When you look at how much better he's gotten from the time he was a freshman. Crawford on the drive. The floater goes. And Memphis answering every blow with one of their own.
Well, you could say Memphis's guard play is a whole lot better than it was 12 days ago.
Nice feed inside. And Cobbins draws the foul. That time Smart with a nice feed. Michael Cobbins will shoot two. That's the good news. The bad news is he's a 43% free throw shooter. Foul is going to be against Dixon, his fourth, with 5.5 minutes to go. Missing the first. Well, on Wednesday, the Big Ten ACC Challenge continues on ESPN. First at 7, Maryland heads to Ohio State to take on Aaron Craft at number 7, the Buckeyes. Then at 9, Michigan State, number 1, tries to hold on to that lofty ranking when they host James Michael McAdoo at number 16. North Carolina, UNC losing to Alabama Birmingham tonight.
And former assistant coach Jared Haas, former assistant to Roy Williams at North Carolina and Kansas. I saw Michigan State last weekend. That backcourt of Appling and Harris playing as well as anybody right now.
2-point game.
Now
Oklahoma State in the zone here, Frank.
Yeah,
what's up?
Well, they're showing zone, but let's see if they stay in it. And they are, because once the cutter went through, Smart stayed at the top.
Johnson out front. From the corner, Crawford knocks down a three. A huge three for Chris Crawford.
Remember, Mark, these 4 guards of Memphis went 8 for 34 12 days ago. They were basically a no-show. Tonight, they've been excellent.
Smart. A long contested three, way off. And he is really, really out of sorts tonight.
Well, his aggressiveness and competitiveness is getting him in trouble. He's trying to do too much.
Jackson lost the handle, got it back.
See, I would isolate Jackson on Forte, but you got to get him in the middle of the floor.
Why? Tough to double?
Yeah, exactly. If you send the second body up there, then Murphy's going to help. See it?
Yep, that's what happened. Over to Goodwin, 2 on the shot clock, got to get it up. And here come the Cowboys, they got numbers. Murphy with the reverse, a long stride, and they get a little bit closer to 3.
Murphy's only a sophomore. You talk about a guy embracing his role. You see, Jackson can take Forte one-on-one, Mark. There's no need to screen out top. All you'd have to do is give him space.
Let's see what Josh Pastner dials up here. Jackson flashing into the paint. Nichols, that might have been in the cylinder, but they give him credit for the tip.
One thing that helped Nichols is that ball took a very soft bounce.
The lead is at 5. Memphis on the verge of something big here.
And Nash on the bench with 4.
Markel Brown working off the screen. Forte got a look. And the Cowboys, another one from downtown. Got it! Phil Forte makes it a 2-point game. And a timeout called by Oklahoma State. Forte with 19.
Joe Jackson came within inches of that rebound.
Each team knocking down big threes here late, Fran.
Well, Chris Crawford in the deep corner. There's the kick out by Johnson. And watch this tip, Mark. You think it was on a cylinder. Watch how it bounces up there softly. Oh, it's good.
You're right.
And then watch this. The hustle by Brown, and then you leave Forte open. Forget about it.
600 makes a day. That's just one more.
It's like taking your vitamins. He does that in his sleep. Now you think that Travis Ford doesn't value what this guy means at 5'10", only a sophomore, out there in crunch time?
A little bit of Keaton Page in his game?
No question. And the reason he chose Oklahoma State is because they recruited him separately from his best friend. There you see Keaton Page, who had a terrific career at Oklahoma State. Phil Forte felt comfortable with a coach who played like him and an assistant coach at Keaton Page who played like him. And then when Marcus Smart sensed how Oklahoma State was recruiting essentially his brother, he said, you know what, whatever I do in college, I can do at Oklahoma State.
Not to mention the great facilities they've got there.
No question.
3 minutes to go. Crawford on the drive. Big time move by Chris Crawford.
Second time Smart has gambled out there, and it didn't pay off.
Don't think that Memphis guards haven't heard all the talk about the Oklahoma State backcourt. Smart kicks it out. Markel Brown, he's hit the last two.
Got a run out. Oh, they had a run out.
Crawford takes it in and gets the foul against Oklahoma State. Memphis 2.5 minutes away from their first win against the top 25 team under Josh Pastner. And Chris Crawford trying to write the perfect ending here in Disney.
Up next, following your current game, Todd Mayo and Marquette taking on San Diego State in the DirecTV Wooden Legacy Championship. Back to Orlando.
All right, guys, back here. 4-point ball game. Memphis with the lead. Their backcourt has found redemption and atonement in their shooting percentages tonight. In stark contrast, Fran, to the first meeting. What do you think the big difference is that accounts for that?
You know what? Pride. You know what? They were embarrassed, Mark. They were down 34 points in the second half in Stillwater. This is a team that many of us think has one of the best backcourts in the country. You talk about Louisville, you talk about Oklahoma State, Michigan State, Connecticut certainly, and they did not perform well on the road. Tonight they've been sensational.
Chris Crawford at the line, 6'4" senior out of Memphis. Big miss.
He came in tonight perfect on the season. There you go. Look at that.
He's 0 for 3 tonight. Makes it a 5-point game.
Keep this in mind down the stretch. Jackson over 80%, and Dixon, when he's out there, over 80%.
Smart on the drive. Got all the way to the bucket.
Once again, they iced him, but when you ice him and force him down, you allow him to attack the big.
That's going to be a foul against Smart. That's his second, and that sends Memphis to the line.
See, Mark, they force him down, but look how Cobbins flips the screen, and now that means Smart is one-on-one against Nichols, and that's a mismatch.
Crawford going back to the free throw line.
You know, the way to play that is anytime when you ice a guard on the sideline, the big's got to come up and almost corral Smart. If he stays back, you allow his momentum to come right at you. You almost got to treat it as a trap out there.
Yeah, Smart's been able to get downhill, so on the bonus, Crawford missing. A chance to come to within one.
Nash back in with the 4 fouls.
There's that high ball screen again.
Yep.
And there's the same result.
Yep.
Marcus Smart starting to percolate here late. Under 2 minutes to go. The lead down to 1.
See, if you trap him out there, he'll split you. But if you don't get a good, if you don't corral him, you allow him to get to the rim.
Crawford out top.
I'd like to see Dixon back, the scorer.
Nice backdoor cut by Jackson. And he lost the handle. Nichols got it back. Crawford left wide open. Short. Out of bounds. And it's Memphis basketball off of Forte.
Josh Pastor, Michael Dixon wants to be back in the game. He's telling Josh Pastor. And guess what? He's listening.
When you got a senior like that, Fran, does it factor into
your
decision making
as a coach? Here's the deal. You got 4 seniors out there, and the 3 guards were here before. You know, Michael Dixon joined this program in September, but on the offensive end, he's proven, and he's got ice water in his veins.
He's hit some big ones tonight.
And remember, it's his birthday, so something good might happen.
1-point ball game. Dixon out top.
I like it.
Smart taking on the challenge, guarding him. Goodwin against the shorter Nash. Dixon off the bench cold and misses. And Memphis keeps it alive. They get a new shot clock and 1 minute to go.
Memphis doesn't. Oh, that's a good timeout right there.
Oh, Johnson. I
almost think Johnson
elbow up.
Yeah, but I thought he was going to drive to the rim.
Oh, my nigga.
1 minute left. Folks, remember that the Wooden Legacy game between Marquette and San Diego State coming up at 9:40. You can flip over to ESPN News and catch it in a couple of minutes, but stay here right now. A lot of basketball to play.
Now Murphy's back in, probably for Nash with the 4 fouls, so he gives you a long defender. Watch the screen and roll, Mark. They flip the screen and look who he's attacking. Nichols and Goodwin. That's the first one. Here's the second one. To the basket, look who he's attacking.
He's blown by Crawford on both those possessions, man. What kind of adjustment do you think they make?
Well, the problem is they're trying to force him to the baseline, but he's getting over the top. It's not necessarily Crawford's fault.
Let's see what Memphis runs out of this timeout. Johnson, Crawford, Jackson, Nichols, and Shaq Goodwin on the floor for Memphis.
Dixon out. The 3 veterans for Memphis back in.
Good denied defense by Smart. 10 on the shot clock for Johnson. Jackson against Williams. Jackson on the drive-by, rejected at the rim, and Smart controls. 30 seconds to go. And Travis Ford calls timeout. Wants a full TO.
Now, once again, we've seen in this tournament, Jackson, a righty, drives into the defense and shoots it with his right hand. So this is an easy play. Take a look. The speed to the rim is great. But Kamari Murphy is there to protect.
Friend, what's the tonic there? If you're Memphis, you got to come over the top of that. I mean, if you're laying it up, it's a tough shot.
Well, you know how I feel about attacking the basket. You got to go to the body, not especially with the length of Murphy. But now, if you're Oklahoma State, they've been here before, Mark.
29.1 seconds to go. Marcus Smart has had a lot of success scoring on the last couple of possessions. Is he the guy again here on this possession on that same play?
What I would tell Marcus Smart here, and again, they've been very effective in pick and roll, is listen, we're going to use you in the ball screen, but don't jam it in there if they clog the lane. You've got Markel Brown and Phil Forte who can score, and you can dump it off inside, especially if Nash is back in. Be smart about your decision making is what you want to tell him right now, because you don't want him to do it all himself and have him crash into the defense.
It's Smart, LeBron Nash, Markel Brown, Cobbins, and Forte for Oklahoma State.
If you're Memphis right now, you must be very concerned with the screen and roll defense. How are you going to play it? You cannot allow Smart to come off a screen and attack the bigs.
And they got Johnson guarding him this time. So they change it up a little bit. We'll see if it makes any difference. Smart turned the corner on the screen. Pulls it back out. 15 seconds to go.
I'd make him beat me with the jumper, Mark.
He lost the handle. Yep. Johnson back tapped him and caused the turnover. 11 seconds to go.
I'll tell you what, Memphis did a good job of clogging the lane on both of those pick and roll situations. Look at Nichols' retreat, and then Johnson poked it free.
Yeah, Johnson got that cleanly. Jackson at the foul line. Joe Jackson right around 85% on the season. That was the 4th turnover against 4 assists for Smart. 85 on the year, 1 for 2 though tonight. Even if he makes both, it's a 1-possession game.
Exactly. Travis Ford's got a timeout in his pocket. The jump ball favors Oklahoma State. You know, it's amazing because you can actually get a better 3 in transition if you need it than if you call timeout. Be interesting to see what Travis Ford does here.
Michael Dixon comes into the ball game and Ford calls timeout, so he's going to draw one up. Now, if you're Memphis with 11.9 seconds to go, Fran, different coaches have different philosophies as they're going to try and sort things out. Do you foul or don't you foul if you're Memphis?
It looks like there's no call. There's no timeout.
There was no timeout. Do you foul if you're Memphis?
You know what? I think in this situation, my rule would have been 7 seconds or under. Now, Black, take a look. That might mean switch everything.
Here they come.
You saw the 1 to 5, so see if they switch everything.
Keep an eye on Forte.
They did switch it.
Loose ball, out of bounds. Memphis basketball with 2.2 to go. The Cowboys didn't even get a shot off.
Josh Pastner put up the sign, Black 1-5, which meant we're switching all 5 spots. They got to get it in cleanly.
And they got it to the right guy, Joe Jackson. He just knocked down 2. One more look at the turnover.
There's the switch, and then Smart throws it back instinctively, and Shaq Goodwin ran through the passing lane and took away the pass to Phil Forte.
And off of Smart's knee, out of bounds.
Watch Jack Goodwin. See, he doesn't have to guard Cobbins, so what does he do? He shoots the gap and comes up with the play of the night, Mark, and he started this whole thing with his intensity in the first 2 minutes of this ball game.
The Memphis Tigers just 1 tick of the clock away from registering their first win against a top 25 team under Josh Pastner. And as we take a look at today's player of the game, brought to you by Old Spice, Shaq Goodwin with 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists. But something that's not on the stat sheet is his enthusiasm, which led to the first win, if things play out here, and against a top 25 team for Josh Pastner.
Well, they're gonna have 2 free throws. Oklahoma State had a plan. They were going to dribble handoff, and they were going to try to get Phil Forte coming back off a flare screen from Cobbins. Shaq Goodwin blew the play up because he didn't have to guard Cobbins on the 3-point line.
And now it's a 2-possession game. Pastner calls a timeout. Fred, how big would this win be for Memphis against a top 25 team when you look at how this program has developed under Josh Pastner?
Well, first of all, let's face it, it's a big win for Josh Pastner, who hasn't beaten the top 25 team. He's done everything right in terms of replacing a legend in John Calipari. Recruited well, he's popular, the players love him, but he needed this win tonight. It's big for the Memphis players because they were embarrassed in Stillwater and they played their hearts out.
Shaq Goodwin really set the tone and the tenor for this game tonight on the Memphis side of the ledger with his indefatigable energy and his selflessness on the basketball court.
And it started in the very first minute of the game, Mark, and he had that big smile on his face, and he played with a smile all night. But with the smile came the requisite intensity that he needed to be able to challenge Oklahoma State.
And here's the reaction after that last play. We were wondering when we were going to see those placards of Josh Pastner's. He's got about 20 of them, it seems, on the sidelines that they use to call out their defensive sequences, I guess, as they did on that last one. Got to fear the dreads now. Let them flow.
Now, Oklahoma State's going to have a terrific season. Nobody wants to learn from a loss.
Joe Jackson made the promise. He said, we'll compete a lot better. And his mouth didn't write a check that his body couldn't cash. Memphis wins it 73-68. They outscored Oklahoma State 41-26 in the second half. And congratulations to the 2013 Old Spice Classic champs, the Memphis Tigers from the American Conference. For Fran Fischel and our entire crew, I'm Mark Jones saying happy holidays, everybody, from Orlando. We're going to send you to the championship game of the Wooden Legacy between Marquette and San Diego State. So long, everybody.